whenever you are dealing with any incident where the thing is that the request by the server is handled by the post parameter, one of the things that you will be seeing multiple times is that you will be in the need to know what kind of data was sent to the server, what kind of data was processed by the server. But if it is a post parameter, you will never come to know in 99% of the case. Okay. So if it is a post parameter, those loggings will not be there in the log file because those headers are mostly not recorded. Maybe if it is configured, maybe the database will hold at least like, let's say, last 2 days of logs, like what headers were sent by the client. But in most cases, what you will see that you will not have any details about what kind of information was sent to the to this website. Okay. In that case, we need to kind of figure out what could have been the scenario. So there was a let's say there was some kind of accesses attack, like cross scripting attack, something like script alert slash script, for example. Okay, like this was one of the, let's say, one of the attack. Okay, talking about smart. You see the accesses in progress. I sent out a script which says the pop-up. It executed a JavaScript for me, and it says 1, the value that I have said over here. In replace of that 1, I can kind of execute any kind of malicious script. It is something accesses. I won't be kind of going inside that. But the thing is that let's imagine that there was a scenario where there was an accesses bug, and thing was that this field was having that accesses bug in place. And if we want to figure out, thing is that if we go to the URL log file, we see just this. We can't say from here what kind of data was sent by the client to the server, and was there any kind of vulnerability that was exploited. Okay. So I hope you got a sense about like what is the pros and cons of benefit of the benefit and cons of cost. Benefit is that your data is not disclosed in log files. It's like hidden, and it's little bit complicated to kind of automate that, and not also in the log file. But thing is that as a cons is that whatever data the attacker has sent out, you won't be kind of seeing that. Okay.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So actually, when we are injecting that JavaScript code, right, that to perform the attack, so we are getting that pop-up. So it is like indication that the web page is vulnerable to JavaScript attack, right?
Yes.
So one more thing, like for example, when we are injecting that code, so it is not showing up in the post. So if we are like if we are like in a SOC, so how will we be knowing that attacker is performing this JavaScript attack? So will we be getting some alert like will firewall log that script, or who will be logging that script in the first place?
Okay, so one of the thing definitely one of the thing is definitely like obviously the alert will be in different manners over here if it is like post. So let me just showcase that to you from where you guys can get an alert. So let's say I go here. So let's say this is SOC team, and let's say from where you guys can get the alert. The first alert that you can get is, let's say, from the IDS. Let's say you have a web application firewall in place, which can detect this kind of attacks, for example, to a certain extent. And that's where you will get an alert that, okay, someone is trying to do an XSS attack. And this is something, the thing is that this happens almost all the time. Okay. So SOC, being a SOC professional, you won't be worrying much about that. Okay. There has been like access attack coming in from different users, because when you tap on that, you will see that every day, every minute, someone around the world might be doing some kind of scanning and all on the website that is hosted by that company. Okay. So you can't just kind of, you can't action all those alerts. So thing is that normally normally you would get that alert from the web application firewall saying that, okay, the SOC team got that alert. Or let's say, or let's say the other alerts will be that, okay, the users who are visiting that web page, what they are doing is that they informed you somehow via email or via Twitter or via Facebook that they are seeing some kind of suspicious pop-ups on their screen, or they are seeing some kind of suspicious network connection, or let's say they are seeing that, okay, there are few people, they are seeing that there has been an unauthorized access to their account, for an example. Okay, so that's where the alert can come up. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, so again, like, it's totally like difficult to figure out if that thing was the alert that you got from the users was based out of like access attack. It is very tough to understand, and this is something what you can do in this case. You can, once you get this kind of alerts, you can tell the service team itself, guys, we are getting this kind of alert, can you look at the log file and tell me as the root cause of that. Okay, so they can, the other thing is that with the access attack is that how you can also figure out, let's say one of the user told you that they visited this link, they got a link, they visited the link, and thing is that they visited a link, and somehow after that they visited a link, they somehow their account was accessed by someone else. So what you will do is that, let's say the user visited the website facebook.com, for an example, from their own IP address 1.1.1.1, and thing is that next time you are seeing that someone is logging into the same account from a different IP address 2.2.2.2. So one of the thing you can say that, okay, the concern that was raised by the user is actually seems valid, because you are seeing that the login is happening from a different IP address, where the login would normally happen from 1.1.1, which is based out of US. You are seeing some login happening from Russia, for an example. So you know that, okay, there is something fishy going on. Now what you do is that once you got this alert, you tell to the service team, the team that manages that website, guys, can you figure out why this thing happened? Okay, why this thing happened? And let's say they figured out that this guy who was the attacker has the same cookie value, that was that the cookie value was also of this user. Okay, and from there they can figure out somehow, if the team is kind of very technical panel, they can figure out that maybe what would have happened is that the website is somehow vulnerable to cross-site scripting attack, and maybe what would have happened is that a script and a malicious script was kind of was executed at the client side, and what that script would do is that it would send the document.cookie values to the attacker IP address. Okay, so once this let's say once this thing got executed, for an example. Okay, so let me just quickly go to that. So rather than this basic script, which I am kind of showcasing here, let's say the script was a little bit more complex. Okay, and thing is that that script was accessing the document or cookie value, and the script was that it will access that and will send that value to the attacker IP address. Okay, so that's where you will need the service team, the team, to help you in figuring out what was the specific attack by which this user had the same cookie that this user has. Okay, and then they will do certain kind of like pen testing and all. They will try to figure out if there is any field that is susceptible to cross-site scripting attack, and that's how the incident will kind of go by. But the thing is, being a SOC professional, I can say for 100% sure that you will not be receiving an alert saying that the website that you are receiving, that okay, there is a website, and then you are seeing that, okay, cross-site scripting, malicious JavaScript is being sent out to the SOC. If you start receiving this kind of alert, thing is that you will receive that thousands and thousands of alerts in a day, and you can't handle those kind of alerts. So it's better to kind of stop that kind of alert from going in. Okay, and rather depend on what you can do is that this kind of alert can go to the service team, the team that handles the website. Okay, the team that handles that manages the website, they can kind of extend the alert